8-6 lead for Western Kentucky. And we welcome you to Ruston, Louisiana, a Conference USA showdown between Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech. Jordan Kent alongside Avery Johnson. Both Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech were picked to finish 1-2 in the Conference USA preseason poll. They've dealt with a lot of injuries to some core pieces of their teams, and now fighting through some adversity. They've been on the road a lot in the Conference USA, where we've seen home teams have a lot of success. And so we'll have more from this one as we step aside in Ruston. And before we step aside, we want to remind, for those of you watching our free streaming coverage, it will conclude after the commercial break, but we will continue on CBS Sports Network. You can find us by going to cbssportsnetwork.com/channel finder. College basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. We're here in Ruston, Louisiana. It's an 8-6 lead for Western Kentucky at the moment. With that, we say good evening. Jordan Kent alongside NBA champion Avery Johnson. And what have you missed? Well, some shots that have been missed in this game. Both teams have combined 5 of 25. And Avery, these are teams that are trying to get over the hump with some adversity and some injuries. They're going to rely on their stars. For Western Kentucky, you've got Don McHenry. And then for La Tech, Daniel Bacho leads the country in field goal percentage.
Yeah, this has been a defensive struggle to start the game. Bacho is scoreless to start the game. So Western Kentucky's done a nice job on him, especially on the pick and rolls, and even when he's gotten deep post-ups. But Don McHenry from Western Kentucky, man, he's been Mr. Slash and Dash. He's got 5 points on the board to start this game.
Bacho, 1 of 2 for 2 points, shooting 74% from the field this season, also getting to the line quite a bit. Bacho, the lob, it's catch, brings it down, goes up, fouled as he's ripped to the floor.
Yeah, and another thing you got to keep your eyes on, Jordan, is the little, I call him Maestro. Sean Newman Jr. doesn't have any assists right now. He's second in the nation in assists, but nice little high-low action here with Bacho and Ree. We got the big guy, Bacho, trying to act like a point forward in that situation.
Daniel Ree, the junior from Jackson, Mississippi, transfer from Louisville. 18 of his 30 field goals have been threes this year, but you've been seeing him cut to the paint a lot more as they try to get more of a presence near the rim as Bacho draws out the defense as he misses the first free throw. And for La Tech, 13-6 on the season, 2-4 in conference play. And for the Bulldogs, 4 of the first 6 games have been on the road in Conference USA. Those teams that they've lost to, a combined 32-2 at home. So in Conference USA this year.
And that's why wherever you are in Conference USA, you still have a chance. There's lots of basketball left to play. Some teams are going to start to get healthy. You just never know. Western Kentucky obviously had an NCAA tournament berth last year, but they have a lot of teams and quite a few teams in the Conference USA that are very capable.
Jackson picks up the loose ball. Shot clock winding down. Three-pointer no good for Tyrone Marshall. Hilltoppers now scoreless over the last 4 minutes of action.
Yeah, but the Hilltoppers, they're, what, 2 for 9 from 3? Right now, La Tech is 0 for 8 from 3, so we'll see who can make some threes to really open up the lane a little bit.
Well, it's interesting, Avery, Western Kentucky does not have a 2-point field goal, and we're nearly 10 minutes into this game. Jackson catches it in the short corner. Poked from behind, loose rock for a moment, scooped up by the Hilltoppers, 12 to shoot. Edelin spinning, dishing. Keita has the first 2-point field goal for Western Kentucky tonight.
And got away with poor spacing in that situation. But nice drop, short pass. Big men, when guards drive, that's the easiest place to land. A nice, easy catch is inside that lane in front of the rim.
Bacho kicks it back out, and it is Green that sinks the triple. Welcome back to the party after he's missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury. And then Western Kentucky pushes it down the floor and a foul in the air as Marshall knocked out of bounds. Well, Avery, let's get to our keys of the game for you.
Yeah, for Western Kentucky, they got to take care of the ball, especially here on the road. Defend the paint, especially against Bacho. And then Louisiana Tech win the free throw game. They make a high percentage of their free throws, and I'm giving Bacho a goal. 22 points or more tonight. because we know when he scores 20 or more points, his team has a high degree of success. If he has 16 or 14 tonight, that's not going to potentially end well. He's got to be ultra aggressive.
Speaking of aggressive, Jalen Jackson on defense pokes it. Edlin up and under through 2 defenders. Impressive finish for the sophomore.
Yeah, I think the little man Edlin got help that time. It seems like someone from Louisiana La Tech tipped the ball in for him.
Jackson, another deflection. McHenry 1-on-3. McHenry double clutch over the outstretched arms of Bacho. And Western Kentucky 4 for their last 4.
Wow, you're talking about scoring in traffic. Man, he's like he was in the on the toll road.
About to say, someone found a carpool lane. Green hit his first 3, rolls in another one. Back-to-back trays for him.
We'll see what adjustment Western Kentucky makes, because they missed a switch there, especially same size.
Both teams have been aggressive in their switching, their double teaming, and also their very hard hedges off the ball screen. Edlin is 3, no good. Bacho with the board.
One of the things that's a big point of emphasis is transition offense and defense. Who can force their will in terms of getting some easy baskets?
Green pump fake with the left. He's got 8 points in the first half.
Man, I used to watch Joe Mean Green from Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the A.J. Green, not the singer either. Mr. Al Green. I love it.
So Green has certainly found his rhythm, keeping La Tech within an arm's distance.
Al Green said, money is green, so I want to be money.
Stolen by La Tech. Jackson tries to get it the other way, down the other end. A.J. Bates with the lay-in, and the Bulldogs have taken the lead with 7:33 left here in the first half.
Yeah, Western Kentucky is all about active hands, especially when you're on the road. Nice little pass here, little scoop, and then here comes our guy, Don McHenry, is Matt Buckets to start this game.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef? And by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Isaiah Crawford, how about his career? Over 1,500 career points, puts him at 18th all-time, 610 rebounds, 20th all-time. But the defense, 184 steals. It's 4th all-time in La Tech history. And when we were talking to head coach Talvin Hester, he said his departure is a big reason why our defense isn't quite as physical as it was last year. We're putting the pieces together. We're starting to get that feel for it. But obviously that defense was a key reason for him having a 7-win improvement last year in just his second season at the helm.
And he was responsible for containing the basketball. He was one of the best on-ball defenders, help side defenders. He contested shots without fouling. He rebounded the basketball, which helped ignite their break. Yeah, that's a serious loss. And he's not been in a situation right now where Coach Hester's been able to replace him.
And Crawford now with the Sacramento Kings, and so obviously getting to that next level has been huge for him. Kalambe attacks the cup, left-handed finish, and the Hilltoppers now 5 of 6 from the field.
Yes, Kalambe straight out of Quebec, Canada.
One of 4 players from Indian Hills Community College, where Hank Plona spent 8 years as the head coach, won numerous conference titles and postseason championships. Brought nearly an entire starting lineup over to Western Kentucky. We have a foul on the floor this time. And that's going to be against Enoch Kalambe. So Kalambe will pick up his 2nd foul.
That's one of the unsung parts of Bacho's game, is when he screens, how he gets the ball handler open.
Newman to inbound. Green gets open, quickly closed out upon by Bayless. Pump fake. Newman, 3-ball, corner, off target.
Boy, Newman has a really sweet stroke. I think he's going to, shoot a better percentage than 30% from three. He's just got to remain confident because we know he can distribute the basketball.
Bayless loses the orange. Coming down the other way, Cooper, a finish at the cup, a heartbreaker that trickles out.
Yeah, but you got to have a little bit better feel. That was a 3-on-1. And also his teammates need to be communicating with him in that situation that I'm trailing. He could have almost flipped that ball behind his back. Maybe that's just my instincts.
Well, listen, you were pretty good at Southern with leading the NCAA in assists, and then clearly your career in the NBA with the Spurs, and you're a pass-first guy.
Absolutely. Oh, that's a charge.
Bacho lowers the shoulder and knocks a Western Kentucky player off the hilltop as he gets the finish. So Bacho now up to 4 points, 2 of 3 from the field. And it's still a 1-point La Tech lead with under 6 to go here in the first half. Marshall will tee it up. Loose rock. Bayless trying to control into the front row. Saves it right back to Newman. Newman patrolling.
And this game started off, we went the first 4 minutes without any of the team scoring.
A.J. Bates, the 3 from the corner. And Louisiana Tech, after missing their first 7 threes, have now hit 3 of their last 6.
So this is an isolation at the free throw for Marshall.
Marshall, tough finish as he draws the foul. They're going to get Caden Cooper. Cooper picking up his first foul.
Yeah, this is one of the plays that Western Kentucky worked on this morning. Little elbow catch. Get him going home. Sweeping through the defense, and look about you. That could have been a charge. I think the defense was set on that.
Was he inside the circle?
Outside.
He was outside. Okay.
He looked outside.
In my opinion, the block charge is still the most difficult call to make in all sports for any official. So Tyrone Marshall, a graduate player from Nashville, Tennessee, spent some time at Colby Community College out of Kansas, adds some tip to the bill, and he will check out for a much-needed breather. And the front court depth for Western Kentucky, something to keep an eye on after Babacar Faye has been out for about a month with a knee injury. He was such a key piece of their energy and activity on defense, Avery.
Yeah, and just an emotional leader. You know, a lot of times guys could be a quiet leader, but he was the emotional energy for Western Kentucky.
It's that three-quarters court press, and then Ree will draw 3 defenders and able to also pick up the foul, so Ree's aggressiveness being rewarded. Well, tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, catch a college hockey clash as number 17 St. Cloud State takes on Omaha right here on CBS Sports Network. You ever get into hockey?
A little bit. I follow the Dallas Stars.
I was going to say, you were connected to everything in Dallas, and I know the Stars have had some good teams.
Yes.
And tell you what, a lot of those hockey players are built like power forwards. 6'4", 6'5", 220, 230, speed, agility, skill.
Yeah, one of my old assistants, Popeye Jones, he has a son playing in the NHL, Seth Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, how did Popeye get his son into hockey?
When he played for the Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
Yeah. But this game right here resembled a tough hockey game to start, man. Both of these defenses, it was really physical to start this game.
Yeah, a lot of shots on goal with no results in the early going.
Without the pads.
But now it's a 3-point La Tech lead, and teams are starting to settle in offensively. Colombe, his open 3.
You know, on those shots, how many Western Kentucky guys are going to go to the offensive glass? It seemed like everyone, I know they're concerned about transition defense, but everyone retreated and no one went to the offensive glass.
It's a good point you're making. Right now, the rebounding battle. Slight edge to Western Kentucky, and that's going to be a foul against ODI as we take a look at Hank Plonin. His first season at Western Kentucky was an assistant coach for the Hilltoppers last season. But look at that impressive record in 8 seasons at Indian Hills Community College. He's talked about just this season in particular, making sure they continue to do things the right way, especially during this stretch where they're in conference play. The offense has been a little helter-skelter. They're dealing with the injuries. He feels like at any moment this thing can turn for them.
Yeah, Coach Plona, I really enjoyed visiting with both coaches, but specifically Coach Plona. I was disappointed that his JUCO team hit a game-winning shot against my JUCO.
He reminded you of that first thing, right?
I thought he was going to give me some love, but he reminded me of that. But I love what he's doing. He was just talking about how he wants his team to not be affected so much when they have a couple of missed shots. Just stick together, play with a lot of toughness, and that's what he's trying to instill into this team.
Will Allen, about 5 hours south of New Orleans, knocks down the free throws. So it's a 5-point lead for La Tech, who have won 5 straight games at home. 4 of their first 6 games on the road in Conference USA, so we're certainly happy to be back here in Ruston. Lander, step back, flips it over, Colombe. Fiddles with the leather, throws it up, no good. A foul on the floor, and it looks like Kata is going to be rewarded for fighting for the offensive rebound. It's going to be a foul on Allen. So we'll step aside. Under 4 left in the first half. It's a 5-point lead for Louisiana Tech in this Conference USA matchup as Bacho, the nation's leading field goal percentage shooter, rattles home another jumper. College basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. 5-point lead for La Tech, 3:57 left here in the first half as we take a closer look at Daniel Bacho, who's got 4 points, 2 of 3 from the field. And how about his season last year, Avery? Newcomer of the year, All-Conference USA first team, all-defensive team, and he does all of that, Avery, while also leading the country in field goal percentage this season.
Yeah, he impacts the game in multiple ways. Here you see him, you know, he's at the free throw line, and look at him gaining for this offensive rebound. When opponents go to block shots, he's always there to clean it up and flushes that shot. And then defensively, you know, he brings a tremendous amount of energy. He's the last line of defense there, blocking and said, get that out of here.
Bacho's had quite the journey, originally from Paris, France, spent some time at Arizona, at Texas Tech, and now has found a great home here at La Tech in his second season with the Bulldogs. And it's interesting, not only does he score the ball efficiently, but he is averaging 10.5 fouls called against him, against defenders, the last 2 games. And so the thin front court for Western Kentucky, they've done a pretty good job of avoiding foul trouble while defending Bacho in this one, as Blaise Kata gets set for his first free throw.
And when you're a big man like Bacho, it helps your team get in the bonus quickly because he has so much of a presence on the offensive end. He creates so many problems.
Both teams currently in the bonus as La Tech 6 for their last 8 from the field. That's going to be a travel whistled against A.J. Bates, so a turnover. And that's going to be number 6 against the Bulldogs.
Whenever you run a pick and roll and a big jumps out and impacts the ball, you got to think in your mind, and you got to have a photographic memory that this is not my time to score. Somebody's open. We're playing 3-on-2, 2-on-1, somewhere on the court, and I have to sacrifice at that point and make the right pass.
Was your tendency to look on the near side or look weak side usually when you saw that big come out to you pretty quickly?
I would start on the strong side and then pan to the weak side, but it was a quick split-second decision. And the only reason I would start on the strong side, because if the strong side was covered, I'd know something's happening on the backside.
Abram jumper no good. Kata claims the board. Jalen Jackson will race it down. We mentioned Western Kentucky #1 in the nation in pace, and that's going to be a foul at the 3-point line on the floor against Amari Abram. Well, coming up, AT&T at the half with Kiana Martin, Chris Walker, and John Rothstein. They'll have scores, highlights, and analysis from key games around the nation. That's AT&T at the half. You know, I've been on the road with Kiana Martin. We were doing some UConn football. We had some good meals as a group. Chris Walker, I've ate some good meals with. John Rothstein, we got to get dinner sometime. I'll come to New York and get things set up here, Avery.
Oh, great. if John would come down here to Louisiana, he can have some great gumbo.
Listen, I found a sweet potato hash with fried eggs on it this morning that was out of this world, as the first free throw is no good, but McHenry able to get the loose ball. And Western Kentucky will reset. Lander, the drive, gets in the paint, but the ball might be knocked off his leg as he goes crashing into the Spirit team. That's going to be La Tech ball.
But if you notice on that possession, the ball never really made it to the weak side of the floor. It stayed on the strong side.
Did he go out of bounds? Here's the question. Yes, that right foot. Yep.
Yep, with the right foot.
Yep. Under 3 minutes left here in the first half. And now La Tech without a field goal over the last 2.5 minutes. Ree trying to change that, and it's Ree for 3.
That's exactly what we were talking about. Wonderful. Excellent pass.
McHenry trying to respond. He is fouled, and that's whistled against Ree, and that is 3 free throws coming up for Don McHenry.
So offensively, you're the bait. Whenever you get trapped on the pick and roll, you're trying to draw bees to honey, right? And if you do that, somebody's going to be open. Excellent execution. That was one of La Tech's best offensive pick and roll executed plays.
It's interesting for La Tech. We've talked about the shooting numbers. They have actually turned around quite a bit since the beginning of the game. Right now, they're 10 of 23, but Avery, of those 10 field goals, 9 of them have been assisted upon.
And not all of them have been assisted upon by Sean Newman. It's been other players.
Yeah, Newman with just 2 assists, but one of 4 Bulldogs with 2 assists here in the first half. McHenry now with 10 points in this game. That was the thing. They wanted to see him get going, whether it was from the free throw line or from the field, and now in double figures in the first half.
And both of these teams wouldn't mind showing some sort of a full court man-to-man or a 3/4 court press, but when you have this type of foul trouble.
Bates draws 3 defenders. A cutting Abram. Abram fading away with the left, and he is fouled. So Abram will head to the free throw line. As we check out the Conference USA standings, and both coaches mentioned, Avery, there's no floor to the conference this season. FIU picked off one of their victories against Western Kentucky, and for La Tech and Western Kentucky, they're 2 of 5 teams that received first place votes in the preseason poll. That goes to show you the depth of this conference.
Right, and when you only have a few games that separate teams, and what do they have, 13 games left in conference? You know, Kennesaw State, you know, is a team that can sneak up on you. Jacksonville State.
A lot of players returning to school in Conference USA and opting not to transfer or try to go professional, and that's led to a lot of experience in the conference as well.
Yeah, continuity and chemistry, man, that can get you a couple of extra possessions.
Bayless, the dish to Jackson, and Jackson fouled by Bates. And Avery, you get the sense they're starting to call this game a little bit tighter if you can get anything going towards the cup.
And it's not just the referees. I agree with you calling the game tighter, but it's the defense out of position. You know, when you're in a defensive stance, you're seeing man and ball, you're not late on the rotation, you don't put yourself in a complicated situation, which the byproduct of that leads to a foul.
Along with that, Avery, as Jackson hits the first free throw, both teams have been heavily committed to double teams and triple teams on any drive, and it leaves that situation where the ball forces the defense to rotate. If they're a step late, we've seen it. Cutters get into the lane. Jackson, second free throw is good. So Jackson with his first 2 points of the game, and now you see the full court press coming out from the Hilltoppers.
And I would do exactly in this situation what Abram is doing. Put pressure on the defense. Do not walk the ball up the floor.
Pick and roll between Newman and Bacho. Bacho able to control it, but again draws 3 defenders, and it's going to be a jump ball. Western Kentucky basketball.
And exactly what you said just 20 seconds ago. And when you have a mismatch versus somebody that's 5'10", you can almost guarantee the weak side defense is coming, so you got to become a passer on the catch and not bring the ball down when you're 6'9" to a player that's 5'10".
Jackson reverses it. McHenry, the pump fake, and the float game is strong. McHenry now with a dozen.
McHenry's like a professional scorer. He gets out of bed, scores the basketball.
Under a minute left here. McHenry, leading scorer in this game with those 12 points, trimmed it to a 3-point lead.
And Western Kentucky's decided to switch all of Bacho's pick and rolls.
Newman, nice find, led Cooper. Cooper picks up his dribble. Newman in the corner, 2 to shoot. Newman got to do something with it. He is fouled with 1 second left, and the Western Kentucky bench is disgusted.
Sometimes it's good to be lucky, because Newman should have shot that. He was wide open in the corner, and he decided to put it on the floor. You need a little bit of defense here at the very end. Wow.
And that's the 3rd foul on Colombe. And that's just a tough whistle, because you're playing defense right until the shot clock. And it almost seemed like Newman was off balance when he put that up.
Yeah, that was the degree of difficulty on that shot. Colombe, you know, show your hands in that situation.
So they rule it a shooting foul, so 2 free throws coming up for Sean Newman. So you see 2nd in the country in assists per game. Well, Saturday morning, head out to the pitch for a Serie A showdown. Como takes on Atalanta at 9 Eastern right here on CBS Sports Network, and stream every match live on Paramount+. Newman with 2 assists and just 2 points, and so credit the defense for Western Kentucky on taking out the primary player for La Tech.
It looked like Newman is grabbing that right wrist that he has taped up. So look, maybe got it banged up on that last drive. So we'll see, especially in the second half.
He was able to hit those free throws despite the uncomfortability. Bayless trying to thread his way through the paint, no good. We've got less than 17 seconds left here in the first half. La Tech will call timeout, most likely hold for the final shot of the half. We'll step aside. What will the Bulldogs draw up? We'll find out when we return. Please join CBS in helping those affected by the California wildfires. Your donation enables the Red Cross to provide shelter, meals, and relief items to help people recover from these disasters. Donate today by going to redcross.org/CBS, calling 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. So another look there at Sean Newman, and Newman from Los Angeles and played Newman from Los Angeles and played 2 years at Fullerton College and comes over to La Tech and has just really thrived over the last 2 years. Has eclipsed his assist total from last year already with 13 games to go. 7 seconds left. Abram, the double team, cross-court pass. Cooper trying to beat the horn, rolls out. And that's going to do it for the first half of action. La Tech hangs on to a 5-point lead, 33-28. And they have 9 assists on 10 made buckets.
And they're finding an open man, so we'll see who can find an open man to start the second half.
Bulldogs looking for their 6th straight win at home. Coming up next, we'll take you to our New York studio for AT&T at the half, as it's a 5-point La Tech lead. College basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Nightfall in Ruston as Western Kentucky trails La Tech by 5 as we get set for the second half of action. With that, we say hello again. Jordan Kent alongside Avery Johnson. And Avery, it was a mix of maybe some poor shooting and some great defense in the first half. Biggest adjustment you see for both these teams as we begin second half
for
play?
Western Kentucky, they got to get some stops and run. Some more easy baskets. And if I'm La Tech, get the bench in as soon as possible because they are going to work tonight. I'll have those starters on a short leash.
The story in the first half as Western Kentucky was starting to pull away, it was the bench for La Tech that stepped in, and Al Green said, hold up, let's stay together, and started filling it up.
Yeah, and he's doing a nice job. You know, pick and pop, hear it. Nice job, left-handed separation on the pick and roll. And then on the other side, when you're talking about our guy Don McHenry, this is a game of lefties, man. Strong side three right here in the corner, made the defense pay, and just having that ability to shot fake, put the ball on the ground, shooting that little lefty floater on the baseline.
McHenry leads all scorers with 12 points in first half stats. You see the shooting percentage, Western Kentucky just 9 of 28 in the bench scoring, 17-6 advantage for La Tech. Green, the leading scorer, with 8 points for the Bulldogs as La Tech looking for 6 straight home wins as they begin the second half with possession. It's been a rather quiet first half for Daniel Bacho, their leading scorer, who's #1 in the nation in field goal percentage. Bacho had just 4 points on 2 of 3 shooting.
And keep your eyes on fouls early in the second half. You know, both teams committed 10 fouls. So we'll see in terms of who can get to the free throw line first. We know Kalambe has, what, 3 fouls?
Yes. Kalambe with 3, and then you've got 4 other players with 2 fouls for Western Kentucky. They avoided most of the foul trouble in the first half, to your point, but they have a thin front court due to some injuries. They're missing Babacar Faye, Tegan Moore, who was first team all-freshman in Conference USA last year. Bacho trying to keep it alive with a rebound ripped down by Odiayi.
Julius Thetford.
Lander trying to go one-on-one. Baseline jumper is good, and he trims the lead to 3. Christian Lander started this game 0 for 4. Finally gets his first field goal.
You know, here's a kid that really shined in those Conference USA tournament games last season.
Bacho up top tried to feed the lob to a cutting Cooper. It was off target. And then Jackson able to sprint it back down. Lander trying to get his second bucket. No good. Tapped in the front court this time as we see Abram nearly losing the handle, able to feed it over to Ree as they reset the offense.
And the key is staying away from scoring droughts.
Odiayi got a hand on it, but then recouped by Newman. Newman picks up the dribble. Bacho, rare one-on-one opportunity, and he draws a foul on Odiayi. And that's going to be the 3rd on the big fella.
Yeah, just having a little bit of ball handling issues to start the second half for La Tech. Whenever the defense tips a ball on the dribble or a pass, it just disrupts your timing.
So Daniel Bacho, in his 2nd season now with La Tech, has been to a lot of different places. You see transferred in 2023-24 last year, started off his career redshirting at Arizona, goes to Texas Tech for a couple of years, also speaks 3 languages, French, English, and Russian as well. The preseason Conference USA Player of the Year.
And that means you can't hide.
No, you can't.
Everybody
and that's
knows.
been the big thing, the injury to Will Jeffress, who was a transfer from Pitt that was doing so much for La Tech at that 4 spot. Defenses have now been able to send 2 bigs at Bacho. Newman to the corner. Cooper, pump fake. This time reverses it. Abram, wide open 3 off target. Ree, offensive rebound, and he puts it in.
And that's Ree's 10th point. He's been Mr. Versatile. It's one of the things that Coach Talvin Hester talked about. He's a very talented kid. Needs to gain a little bit of weight. if they were healthy, he'll probably play a little bit more 3 than the 4 position.
Nice problem to have, by the way. You need to gain weight. That's something that you and I probably would like to have that problem right now. Here's Bacho. You see Lander playing a little cat and mouse. They send 3 defenders. Bacho fights through the contact. That's foul number 4 on Odiaye. So Bacho, we mentioned, he has averaged 10.5 fouls per game the last 2 games called against his defenders. And there you see his road. Began his career in France, had knee surgery in Arizona, 2 seasons at Texas Tech, and now 2 seasons here at La Tech. And he's one of the few veteran players for La Tech, Avery, that's experienced. Talvin Hester said, we've got old guys, they just haven't played a lot of minutes at the Division I level.
Yeah, and I think he also mentioned that he wants his players, not just Bacho, because Bacho's really one of the consistent ones on the team, but he wants everybody else to just be more consistent. He knows when he gets out of bed in the morning what he's getting from Bacho. He's a consistent contributor, but the rest of the team has been a little bit inconsistent.
So Western Kentucky scoreless for the last 2 minutes. Kalambe, his 3, no good. Edelin.
We got a piece of that one, Jordan.
Bayless, his 3, in and out. So we credited the defense for forcing this shooting percentage so far. Newman, nice find up, Bacho foul, and that's going to be called against Jalen Jackson.
Watch this pass. This is what I'm talking about from the little maestro here. He comes off this pick and roll. This is what you call a open pick and roll. You see the floor is open, all of the shooters, but look how he passes this ball right around the defender's left knee, knowing that his teammate was going to be there on the roll. This is high-level point guard university by the Sean Newman Jr.
A lot of that is just the feel and the reps that he's had with Bacho. They run so much pick and roll action that they've seen everything as Bacho is now split his last 3 trips to the free throw line.
And you notice I got out of my seat for that pass just as much as a dunk, or that 3 that was just made by Western Kentucky.
So Edelin, a much needed bucket for Western Kentucky, ends their scoring drought and keeps it a 2-possession game. And a 3 in the corner for Abram. And Abram getting his first field goal at a key time for La Tech.
And that's what happens when Newman has the ball. You have to be ready to shoot because he will find you.
Keita, flurry of pump fakes, finally fishes it in.
Keita takes up so much room inside, 6'11", 250 pounds.
The transfer from Nebraska, one of the reserve bigs that has had to step up due to the injury to Faye earlier in the season. Much more concerted effort to feed Bacho here in the second half. Pump fake. Into defenders, and that's going to be a foul against Western Kentucky. Keita can't believe it. He felt he was straight up. It'll be free throws coming up here for when we come back from Ruston. When they hit the floor, and right now it's a 6-point lead for La Tech. And Avery, as we take a look on the bench to Jordan Crawford, who had a career-high 25 points in that game last year, hasn't seen the floor yet here today. And sometimes when you have a lot of depth, you also look for that consistency as far as who's going to be our ace night in, night out.
Yeah, that's a huge factor with Louisiana Tech. You know, when Jordan Crawford can get back into the swing of things, and, you know, that's a lot of offense that's sitting on the bench.
Crawford from Ruston. And the free throw's good as a hush comes over the entire crowd for Reed.
This was a guy, Jordan Crawford, who started varsity basketball in high school in 8th grade and won 4 state titles.
See, I didn't realize they would let 8th graders swing up to varsity. They at least had to get that 8th grade diploma at the very least. I certainly wasn't ready for varsity basketball in 8th grade.
No, nor was I.
And a foul on the floor as Jackson was trying to attack, and that's going to be whistled against La Tech. Cooper picks up the foul. That'll be his 3rd. So now you start thinking about foul trouble and some issues there.
But it's 4 team fouls for Western Kentucky and only one on La Tech. If I'm La Tech, man, I'm really trying to put my head down and force some cheap fouls on Western Kentucky.
Edlin kicks it back out. Bayless, 1-2 step, dumps it off. Cato right there. Excellent find.
Beautiful basketball. Offensively, if I'm a coach, I would give 2 checks to Bayless in that situation.
So Bayless with his 2nd assist off the bench as the second unit starting to step it up for Western Kentucky, and then another foul as Bacho was able to draw it.
Yeah, see with Bayless here, once you catch the ball out here on the perimeter, you have to make a quick decision. So here's the ball, and now quick decision, and then see the defense comes over, and nice short pass. You want to reinforce those type of offensive possessions when you're showing and reviewing film with your team, you know, the next day after practice.
Oftentimes, you talked about earlier when you saw the big defending you on a ball screen, as we have a trip called against Western Kentucky. It's going to be their 6th team foul already, and we've talked about the wrist issues for Newman. He is slow to get up. It's interesting, they pulled him up by his wrists, Avery, not by his hands, either his teammates. So obviously the heavy tape is there for a reason.
And one more thing I want to add on that last possession with Bayless, quick decisions. Don't hold it, pass it, shoot it, drive it quickly.
Over the top to Bacho. Bacho, his jersey tugged again by Bayless, and that's about the 5th foul this half already, Avery, that Bacho's been able to draw.
Look at the weak side here. Look how far he's pushing the defender up. Look at the catch. Weak side defender. You want that weak side defender to be in there early and force La Tech to skip the basketball.
We saw Marshall was up towards the top of the defense due to a switch earlier, so they had no big side help on the weak side, and that sends Bacho to the line. In and out on the first of a 1-and-1.
I had a Houston Cougars game in December. Seeing those situations, it's like Houston has 6 guys on defense. They know how to get in and flood the lane, force you to skip it, and fly out. That's why they're such an outstanding team that we've had here on CBS Sports Network.
Yeah, we had them last week in a nail-biter against UCF, but you saw it firsthand. Just the nation's #1 defensive team, by the way, by points per game. Just how quickly they can rotate. Kalambe, he is bothered, and then they want a goaltend whistled here against Bacho because the continuation they feel like should have been good. So we'll see what the officials do here, but right now, Hank Plona, what do you think here, Avery?
No, I think this was a good block. Ball was on its way up. Yep. Nice timing from the big fella in this situation.
That's clear.
Bacho's averaging 2.2 blocks a game. But see, when you're in position and you're an unselfish player defensively, you'll give up yourself to take a charge or come from the weak side and block the shot. That's another way that unselfishness shows up.
Jackson steals it from behind. He caught Cooper sleeping after the rebound. Bayless spinning. Bayless, tough shot, draws the foul. The hoop and the hard.
Bayless is balling this half. We showed him earlier making a short pass, but look at him turn the corner here. But here's the steal first. You think you're okay, you're in good shape, Cooper, and now pickpocket from behind and power through for Mr. Bayless.
Braxton Bayless, another Indian Hills Community College transfer here that came over with Plona, one of 4 players from Indian Hills.
I love old-fashioned three-point plays.
I know you do.
Am I showing my age if I say that?
Hey, neither do I. It's the only way I could get 3 points on the play. So now it's a 2-point game. You see the scoring drought for La Tech. Newman dishes it. Here's Green, a three, nearly banked it in. Bayless rips off the rebound, and he scurries down the floor. Bayless, a flurry of moves. Bacho erases it, and La Tech races back down the other way.
Bacho's open.
Bacho, defense leading to offense. He is clobbered. But Bacho now getting his mitts all over this game period.
And see, again, here's Bacho not just running in offensively in transition, but defensively. I'm not going to call that the LeBron block, but here he is going back the other way, running. I love it. I love it when centers run hard both ways.
See, I know the point guard never leaves you because we're sitting here courtside and you're calling out the next play to happen as they're coming down in transition. And it was the right play. But Bacho ran out the free throw line. He's leaving some change in the couch here, Avery, because he's just 3 of 8 from the line. He's sitting here with just 7 points, and so it feels like he's been very active, but a lot of these fouls are leading to just 1-point trips down the floor.
Yeah, and he shoots 76% from the free throw line. So he's got a terrific stroke, so he's as surprised as we are.
Splits another pair, so La Tech now 15 of 22 from the free throw line, good for 68% in this game.
But you talked about it. Bacho forces teams to foul, and that's why, you know, they're in the bonus.
Bayless with his left, can't find the angle. Cooper swings it. Newman in the corner. Cross-court pass. What a find to Green. Splashes the corner three. How did Newman see him? And then Marshall, how about the answer on the other end with a quick spin and two. Bates kicks it back out to Newman. Bacho trying to get that positioning, has been in for a while, having to bang against different Western Kentucky defenders. Newman in the paint, nearly lost it, tries to feed it, and a rare turnover for him as Jackson pushes it down the floor.
And when he's going up against Mr. Jalen Jackson, he's outstanding defensively.
Bayless attacking, short at the cup once again.
And now this is the time for La Tech. Settle down. You can see, you know, Coach Hester saying, hey, let's call one of our plays here. Let's get some action going. Now they're using Bacho as a little bit of a point center.
That pass intercepted. How about Marshall skying for one of the better defenders for the Hilltoppers?
2-on-1 on the backside.
Bayless skips it, beautiful. Jackson misses everything though. Had it set up perfectly, but couldn't convert. So La Tech leads with a 4-point La Tech lead with 11:54 left in this ball game. This Conference USA matchup. Speaking of which, 3 teams from this conference in the mid-major top 25. Who's number 1? Well, that would be the St. Mary's Gales, who you can catch on CBS Sports Network right after this game. They're taking on the number 2 team in the WCC, the San Francisco Dons. And as we head around Conference USA, how about Kennesaw State, the Owls, 9-0 in the Roost right now. They take on New Mexico State.
Our former coach Antoine Petway doing a nice job with Kennesaw State.
A lot of great young talent there. Sam Houston State shooting the 3-ball really well. And then UTEP, they've won 9 out of their last 10 games. And then how about Mustafa? 9 double-doubles for Middle Tennessee on the season. It's been a very deep league. And right now it's La Tech looking for their 6th straight home win against a Western Kentucky team. And both these teams, Avery, got off to nice starts in non-conference play. But once the injury bug hit, that's when things really started to chip away at their depth, and they've squirreled away a couple of close games and now just trying to readjust to different lineups as well.
Yeah, and that's the key, man, just trying to stay healthy. But if something happens, Jordan, who's the next man up?
It's interesting, Western Kentucky with 16-7 in advantage on field goal attempts. It's been so many free throws for La Tech here in the second half. Falling is Bates, he can't get the floater. Lander this time, 1-on-2, Euro step, blocked. How about that? Cleaned up by Reed. 3 bodies on the floor. Newman gonna race it, crashes into Marshall, and Marshall picking up his 3rd foul.
And we've had situations tonight where both teams have been in transition, but here, Lander, you have to feel that this is not your shot. It's basically 2 against 4. And that's the time maybe when you get to the free throw line, break it off, wait for your teammates to come and get a better shot.
Rustin zone, Jordan Crawford checking into the game for the first time. Look at the foul trouble here. 4 players with fouls for Western Kentucky at the moment. This is already a team that does not have a deep front court, and a lot of it was Bacho and his work. He has drawn at least 6 fouls himself in the second half. Newman's free throw is good.
Newman, who shoots close to 80% from the free throw line.
Newman now with just 3 points, all of them from the free throw line to go along with 4 assists. Second one's good. In this type of game here, Avery, where the fouls are stacking up against you as a coach, what do you have to remind your players when you still have so much time remaining?
Yeah, sometimes you may need to help them a little bit and mix in a little bit of a zone.
Marshall, big time 3 on the other end.
Yeah, big time 3 from Marshall, but we'll see if Western Kentucky is going to change their defense at all. And even if you play man-to-man over and over again, it's always good. I used to like to keep a 3-2 zone, a 1-3-1 zone, a 2-3 in my back pocket, just to change it up sometime, especially if my teams were fighting foul trouble.
Newman thinking about it, the crossover, step back, Bates for 3, rolls off the rim. Crawford, offensive rebound, puts it right back in. We highlighted him, had a career-high 25 points last year against Western Kentucky. Some early dividends off the bench.
He only played 2 minutes in their last game against Kennesaw State, but if you want to get a coach's attention, grab some offensive rebounds, play solid defense.
Banks in the free throw. Hey, still counts as a point. Timeout on the floor. La Tech with the 6-point lead, 10:39 left in this one.
Conference USA has some outstanding top performers. I love Jerron Pierre. Have you seen him play?
I have not seen him yet.
Oh my goodness, he can score the basketball. Yeah. Justin Porter, obviously. But on this list, Jerron Pierre is a kid that I think potentially will get drafted if he decides to come out. He has that NBA type of skill set, body, durability, can play at all 3 levels, draws a lot of attention. All of those young men on that list are outstanding, but he's a guy that is one of Coach AJ's outstanding performers.
Saw the numbers for Bacho. His field goal percentage leads all of NCAA. And then McHenry, who had a dozen points in the first half, scoreless in the second half. We haven't called his name much at all here in the second.
Well, give La Tech credit, because when you go in at halftime, who's the guy that you're going to put a star next to his name? And McHenry definitely had a star. Coach Hester probably told him, we know he's left-handed. Let's get our pick and roll coverages sound. Western Kentucky, I wouldn't really call them an inside-out team. They're more of an outside-in team, unlike La Tech.
McHenry has played just 18 of the 30 minutes in this game. So it's one thing to keep an eye on. That's interesting. And right now we're going to fix the clock at this moment. But it's interesting, your leading scorer in a game where you're a little short-handed, you figure that you're going to have him play a few more minutes. The official having a nice little back and forth with the fans behind us, explaining what happened with the clock. And fans will boo officials over it.
It's a no-win situation for the officials.
McHenry right on crew, goes straight to the cup. And right on call, I should say, gets the 2.
Man, he's so fancy with his dribbling sometimes.
Newman left wide open. His three too strong. Ripped down by Crawford. Newman, the drive, pump fake. Newman draws the foul.
Yeah, McHenry. He's just so shifty with the basketball. He changes speeds inside the free throw line. He can post up. That's one of the things here. You know, you think he's going to back you down, and here comes the spin and the finish. Defense couldn't quite get there in time to help defensively.
La Tech has shot 15 free throws to Western Kentucky's 3 in the second half here. As Bacho checks back in.
And I like how Sean Newman is being a little bit more aggressive to score inside.
Well, if he does have a sore wrist, it's not impacting his free throws. He is now 6 for 6 from the line in this game with 6 points, and he'll check out for a breather. Keep an eye on Odiayi. He's got 4 fouls on the floor now for Western Kentucky with Bacho back in the game. McHenry draws the switch. Crawford defending. McHenry fading away. His shot put no good. Rebound controlled, but not. As Odiayi gets the loose rock. Lander hits 3, rattles home.
And you can see, you know, coming out of these last couple of timeouts, what Coach Plona is trying to do. He's trying to isolate McHenry and clear out the entire left side, allow him to go to work, and the rest of his teammates just play off of him.
3-point ball game, under 10 to play. Green can't get the response. Crawford nearly saves it, and Crawford goes flying into the cheer section as well. Marshall.
Now, are you going to play Marshall one-on-one?
Marshall, another close one at the rim as Marshall goes down, trying to chase after it. And if that's a foul against Marshall, that's going to be number 4 against Marshall. So now, both front court starters have 4 fouls each for Western Kentucky.
See, that's one of those situations where you want your players to hustle, go to the offensive glass, but you don't want them to reach in practically 94 feet from your opponent's basket. You're basically rewarding them with 2 free throws. That's almost like a turnover.
And it's Bacho, once again, that gets another player in foul trouble. Bacho, the struggles continue at the free throw line, unfortunately. Came into this game shooting 76% from the line. Right now, 4 of 10 from the stripe tonight.
This is just one of those rare nights where, you know, his free throws are not going down, but good. He was able to make that one. He doesn't have, he's got a functional stroke. His form is really smooth.
McHenry draws 2. Odiayi, the catch. Jackson the drive, and he is fouled on the floor. So that's going to be the 5th foul against La Tech. We've seen Jackson have some success getting that weak side swing and then attacking the cup. Bayless nearly bobbled the handoff from Odiayi.
And you notice Bacho was up at the point of the screen. He wasn't in that deep straight drop. And that's one of the things the coaching staff talked about, was mixing up his pick and roll coverages.
Crawford swings it over. Green. Odiayi with the 4 fouls, can't do much, and that's a miss by Bacho, a rare one from the field.
Yeah, I knew he was going to go to the left-hand jump hook, and unfortunately it didn't finish, but give the big fella credit.
Jackson, another strong take, lowers the shoulder. That's going to be an over the back and the 5th foul against Odiayi. You talked about the careless fouls, 90-plus feet away from the basket.
Yeah, and Leroy Odiayi played extremely good defense against Bacho on one end of the floor. Now he comes crashing down. I don't know if there was much there on that foul. Did you see anything?
It was almost a weak box out by Crawford,
Right.
but I think it's the arms going over the shoulders because of the height difference, and visually looked like over the back. But
I've seen worse.
yeah. But you have to adjust your play to the way the officials are calling.
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely.
And it has been a tighter game ever since about the 10-minute mark in the first half. So Leroy Odiaye will foul out. His night is over. He had 8 rebounds. Wasn't able to get a shot at time.
And whenever your hands is shoulder length, straight ahead, a lot of times that's problematic.
Yeah.
Instead of showing your hands from the floor to the ceiling. Oh, the roof. The roof here.
Is that the Michael Jordan quote? The floor is the ceiling, and the top is the roof. Here.
Way to go, way to go. That was my assist to you.
Oh, thank
for you. To utilize that quote.
Always set me up, my good friend. So 2 missed free throws for Crawford, so it gives the ball right back to Western Kentucky. Kalambe goes right by Bacho, and another heartbreaker, and Western Kentucky has had their chances at the rim.
Yeah, missing those little teardrop shots and free throws.
Abram, clean look. Bacho, offensive rebound. He goes right back in with it.
And right now with this Western Kentucky lineup, you know, your tallest player is 6'6", Kalambe. So there's no real size out there to try to counter Bacho inside in an offensive rebound situation.
Hilltoppers whip it around. McHenry, his 3, skips off the rim. Bayless trying to fight for it. Crawford with another rebound. That's his 6th rebound, and he checked in about 8 minutes ago into this game for the first time.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of adjustments Western makes. That's a foul.
Oh, Bacho just eating right now. And one opportunity. There is nobody left for Western Kentucky to try and get in his way. La Tech starting to open up this game. McHenry doing his best to keep Western Kentucky to it. But it's too much Bacho, the big fella. Offensive rebound, the putback. He'll be at the line when we come back, trying to extend this 8-point lead. College basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. 8-point lead for La Tech. Daniel Bacho will be at the line for a 3-point play with 7:07 left in this one. CBS Sports Network's coverage of college hoops continues next with a West Coast Conference doubleheader as San Francisco squares off with rival St. Mary's. Then at 11, Washington State battles Santa Clara. All coming up after this one in Ruston. How about the WCC standings in St. Mary's, even with some key transfers leaving the program, not skipping a bit. Randy Bennett and company, 6-0 in conference play. San Francisco impressive as well, too. 6-2, and then you see Malik Thomas leading the conference in scoring at over 20 points a game. But how about Paulus Morauskas? 8.7 rebounds. Just another one steps up for Bennett and company.
Yeah, what about his teammate who's the leading scorer for St. Mary, Augustus Marcellonis, the son of Sharunas?
I was about to say, one of the all-time great Golden State Warriors. That was always the litmus test to see if somebody had been a long-time Golden State Warriors fan before Steph Curry got there, right?
Yep.
Do you know who Sarunas Marcellonis is? If so, yes, you can continue to keep your season tickets. As Bacho.
The Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Marcellonis.
Wasn't he the first one to really perfect the Euro step?
Yes, yes. And he had a body like a linebacker.
So Bacho has been getting busy here in the second half. 14 points, 4 of 6 from the field. Kalambe up and over, no good. Offensive rebound, Keita controls it. Kalambe going to be fouled on the catch by Reed.
And that's one of the ways you can punish this Louisiana Tech defense when Bacho rotates over to help with support is offensive glass. Keita was in the right place at the right time.
La Tech with a +1 rebounding advantage so far in this game, and credit Western Kentucky. They're normally out-rebounded by 4 in each of their contests. But the adjustment now, you've got a couple of reserve bigs. You're going a little bit smaller. Are you trying to get more looks for McHenry, or is it still try to work the ball around and get everybody involved?
No, if I'm Western Kentucky, you know, I'll give Keita this shot right here to see if he can finish inside. But if he were to struggle at all, then I'll just go small and try to pick and pop against Bacho and put him in a difficult position.
And Avery, that ended a 3-minute scoring drought for Western Kentucky. Newman over to Abram. Abram, the drive, tries to go through 2 defenders, kicks it out. Newman, his 3, no good. Rebound collected by Marshall. Marshall having to be careful. He's got 4 fouls also. McHenry, pick and roll action, reverse. Colombe, his 3, no good. Rebound, Jackson goes amongst the trees. McHenry, clean look blocked by Cooper.
Wow. Caden Cooper didn't quit on the play.
That's the 4th block for the Bulldogs in this game.
Now you can see La Tech slowing it down a little bit.
Coleman has been excellent off the bench here in the second half. Pitter-patter dribble up top. It's Bacho that closes the lid. What vision from Crawford. Just the timing and precise placement of that pass.
Yeah, just holding his man off.
It's going to be a foul on the floor. Actually, turnover looks like. Let's see what the review here is.
So watch, in this situation, Crawford is running this pick and roll with Bacho, but watch how Crawford right here gets the defender on his back, forces the big guy to help, and there's your lob. We'll see on the other side. La Tech by 9 here in Ruston.
Nine-point lead for La Tech, 5:18 left in this ball game. And Avery, how about we revisit your keys to the game?
I want you to give me a good grade on this. Protecting the basketball, nice job by Western, only 7 turnovers. Defending the paint, not nearly as good. And La Tech, my guy Bacho, I need a few more points from you so I can be right, because I projected you with 22 points. That's necessary for a La Tech win.
He's sitting at 16, so the way that he's been getting to the free throw line, if he shoots them just a little bit better, he might be good for you, Avery. McHenry there with that bucket, and Western Kentucky refuses to let this game get out of hand. They continue to stay about 3 possessions behind, despite the foul trouble. Crawford 3, oh, that's a big one for Crawford. Knocks down a key triple. And how good has he been off the bench in the second?
Oh, man, just amazing. You always need an X factor. Who can show up and show out, and that's what Crawford is doing.
Crawford, 6 points, 6 rebounds.
And look at the big fella, Bacho.
7 minutes of action here. Colombe trying to climb the tower. That's going to be a foul against Bacho, and Bacho took a little bit of contact trying to shake it off. But I want to take a closer look at your homework here on these keys of the game.
Yeah, and look at winning the free throw game. This, 32 attempts to 13 attempts. So they won the free throw game. Bacho, if Bacho would make his free throws, I would be closer to being right.
I think that's exactly what he's thinking right now. I can't let Avery Johnson down. I've got to knock down my free throws.
He's got 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Those 6 misses at the free throw line, man, that could make a huge difference.
Enoch Colombe. It's the second free throw. So 8-point lead for La Tech. 4:15 left in this one, trying to make it 6 straight wins at home, pick up their 3rd conference victory, currently sitting at 2-4. Those 4 losses all on the road in conference play.
And the Hilltoppers, Western Kentucky, they understand time is going to be running out soon.
Newman, another lob, and it's Cooper that's stuck behind the defense.
I'm telling you, this young man, Sean Newman, he can pass the ball as good as anybody I've seen in the last 10 years. This guy is a point guard.
Marshall, though, a key 3, and it's still a 7-point game. Hilltoppers always with an answer, it feels like. Newman turns the corner, dishes it to the corner. Crawford back to Newman. Bacho.
Somebody's going to double team. Bacho didn't look to score that time.
3 to shoot. It's Cooper in the corner. Contested triple. Nice set of box outs by the Hilltoppers.
There's nothing here.
Kalambe able to draw the foul against 3 defenders. So a timeout on the floor. But Avery Johnson, you're loving what Newman's cooking.
Oh, yeah, that's why he's second in the nation in assists, man. And his teammates love playing with him because he has the gift of giving.
Time for our Old Trapper Beef Jerky Player of the Game when we go to Daniel Bacho for La Tech.
Yeah, I got some friends here sitting on the front row, and that's all they talked about. Daniel Bacho. They said, Coach, keep your eyes on him. I said, no, I've watched several of his games. I'm very impressed. He plays big on offense in the paint. He's always a threat around the basket. He puts a lot of stress on the defense.
Bacho just 5 of 7 from the floor, and we say just because 7 attempts is not that many for him. He typically gets a lot more. It's just he's been fouled so much. 6 of 12 from the free throw line, but the pressure he's put on the front court, he's already fouled out Odiahi, and you've got 3 other players with 4 fouls for Western Kentucky.
And it's been consistent, you know, as you're watching games and preparing for this Western Kentucky La Tech game. Bacho never really has an identity crisis. You know exactly what you're going to get with him.
Kalambe now with 9 points. Chance to make it a 5-point game here with 3:02 left. Still plenty of time for Western Kentucky.
And that's what, you know, Western Kentucky, we talked about it all morning with their staff. When things aren't going well, stick together, keep fighting, lead by example. Your body language is very important. They're fighting through, you know, some serious injuries. And they're still in this game with, you know, 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
And Bacho ripped down, doesn't matter. Goes straight through the contact as Jackson had no other choice but to try and bring him down to the floor.
I think they're going to review this.
That looked a little aggressive to me, too.
Yeah, kind of, yeah, around the right shoulder, a little grab here. They're going to review it. It's the right thing to do.
Jackson at 5'11", gives up a whole foot to Bacho. Listen, you got to be aggressive when you're hunting your prey sometimes. You got that size mismatch, but Bacho on balance. And now there's a couple things to review. Was the foul on the floor? Was it through the shot? Was it a basketball foul, or is it going to be a flagrant? And that's also, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be the 4th foul on Jackson.
Yeah, let's start with the flagrant. I don't think this is a flagrant, but nice job here where his teammates, specifically Jordan Crawford, they're recognizing this is a mismatch.
And Avery, the challenge is normally you're screaming for help or a switch, as we're going to come get the explanation here in just a second.
Oh.
It is going to be a flagrant 1. 2 shots and the ball underneath for La Tech. So that's the 4th foul on Jackson, but normally in those situations, you're screaming switch to get a big back on the Bacho. The problem is every big on the floor or in this game for Western Kentucky has 4 fouls.
I'd sure like to see that one more time. Did you think that was a flagrant?
It looked a little aggressive as soon as the arm went around the shoulder. Kind of came from behind and across and made it clear you're just trying to draw the foul. But you've played a little bit more basketball than me, so I'm going to trust your intuition here.
Yeah.
One more look.
So here's the skip. I guess they were saying he just didn't make a play on the ball.
I think so. I think it's the grab for the waist and then reach over.
Yeah.
But Avery, Bacho hit 2 free throws for you.
Good.
So he's got 18 points, and he has a chance to possibly score again here. But this was the thing for Bacho.
And man, it's just a complicated situation for Western. When you want to go small, La Tech is recognizing.
And Cato, who also has 4 fouls, comes back into the game but gets a key rebound. 7-point lead for La Tech, just over 2:30 left. For those of you tuning in for the San Francisco St. Mary's game, you'll be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it tips off. And of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game. Now with 2:15 left, a foul on McHenry.
So it's going to be very important for La Tech because Western Kentucky, they're going to start trapping now all over the floor. So spacing versus the trap is going to be critically important. When you get trapped around half court, you need somebody in the middle. You need a pressure release in a straight line or right behind the guy that gets trapped, a straight ahead, and then a home run pass across half court. Basically, you want to line up in a 2-1-2 versus a half court trap.
The guards can be aggressive for Western Kentucky because neither of them are in foul trouble. It's just the bigs whenever they get the ball down to Bacho. Crawford splits a pair. Bacho trying to get the rebound. Western Kentucky controls.
And you want to make sure, if you're La Tech, you want to make Western Kentucky take tough twos.
And McHenry is fouled, and you saw the entire coaching staff for La Tech say, no fouls, give space, stay grounded. But McHenry able to dribble, penetrate, and pick up the whistle.
And we know McHenry's real shifty. He wants to get to that left hand. He's still effective going right, but he wants to get downhill.
McHenry had 12 points in the first half, now working on 5 points in the second half. Well, the upcoming schedule here for Western Kentucky at Sam Houston, then a couple of home games against UTEP, New Mexico State, two teams that have been doing really well in Conference USA. Then at Kennesaw State, nobody has had success there this season. 1 of 2 for McHenry.
So again, like we said, it's going to be traps for the rest of the game. It's only 1:55 left. You'll have to decide if you're La Tech. When you beat the trap, do you want to go to score? Do you want to run and utilize some of the shot clock? The shot clock is your friend right now.
And McHenry whistled for another foul as Crawford is trying to catch it. The San Francisco St. Mary's game is underway and now available streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN. We'll get you out there as soon as this one is over. How about Crawford's energy coming off the bench here in the second half? Played less than 15 minutes in this game. Has 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and just some key plays. And this game was starting to get close between the two.
And we obviously talked about Bacho being the player of the game. But if I'm a coach and I'm trying to get my players' attention, I'm giving Jordan Crawford the game ball tonight.
McHenry, a bucket and a quick timeout called by Hank Plona. So a 6-point lead for La Tech. Minute 32 left from Ruston when we come back. Louisiana Tech with 2 more home games after tonight. A win this evening would give them 6 straight home wins on the season. We've got Middle Tennessee coming into town, followed by Sam Houston, and a road trip. Picking up some miles as they travel to Liberty and then FIU after that. And then finally back home against Kennesaw State and Jacksonville State. So the schedule starts to tilt their favor with some more home games here, Avery.
Yeah, but a couple of the teams in Conference USA, they're going to have to start winning some road games, you know, to really try to separate themselves. You know, so we'll see in about 2 weeks or so, you know, where everybody stands in the conference and can someone start to win on the road consistently.
Avery, do you play straight up here or are you trying to foul it all?
I'm playing straight up.
Shot clock at 8. It's Bates. Bacho, you know he's going to be involved. Double comes. Bacho, Crawford for 3. Oh, Crawford has been a part of this bench mob in the second half. And he hits a huge 3.
Boy, the way Crawford looks tonight, he may be in the starting lineup the next game.
McHenry can't answer. But Jordan Crawford, who didn't see the floor at all in the first half, puts on the cape here in the second. He has now extended this lead to 9 for La Tech.
Yeah, double team the post. We didn't see one Western Kentucky player in the rotation defensively there, and that's why Jordan Crawford was so wide open.
the gravity of Bacho, just the attention he draws and his vision to kick it back out.
And now if you're La Tech, you don't want to foul. You know Western's probably going to try to get a three-point shot or an old-fashioned three, driving to the basket.
McHenry, no good. Lander fighting for it. Lander off his thighs. He goes splashing into the bench. And so it's going to be La Tech ball with 36.4 seconds left. They lead by 9.
And look for La Tech to go small here, get Bacho out, and all of their free throw shooters, guards. This is a guard city right now.
Is this your typical quick trap? If you don't get the steal, foul immediately?
Absolutely.
It's Jackson with 4 fouls, and right now it looks like they're finally going to foul. McHenry trying to foul. He's the only one that won't get fouled out, as that is going to be his 4th foul on that whistle. And that's going to send Bates to the free throw line.
Wow, what a wonderful bounce back win for La Tech after losing a gut-wrenching game on the road to Kennesaw State by 2.
I'll go back to it, Avery. Jordan Crawford coming off the bench, and within 30 seconds of being on the floor, gets an offensive rebound putback for an and one. His contributions and energy in the second half, you wonder what this game would look like if he had stayed on the bench.
Are you saying he's back in the rotation?
Games like this help. Listen, I'd put him back in there. But that's been the beauty for La Tech, is just having this deep rotation. Crawford almost scored another one away. Lander for 3, no good. Crawford controls his 9th rebound. Here comes the pressure, and then a foul here with 13.7 remaining. That will most likely do it. So we're going to go ahead and update the Conference USA standings. We imagine this one is inevitable.
Are you projecting a Louisiana Tech win?
I am. You know, the only time I saw a team come back from 10 down with under a minute was one of those Jason Williams Duke teams against Maryland back in the early 2000s.
I love it. I love it.
It'll be the 6th straight home win for the Bulldogs here in Ruston. For 2 teams, Western Kentucky and La Tech, that have dealt with injuries to key players. Western Kentucky missing Babacar Faye and Tegan Moore. And obviously, Julius Thedford, the talented freshman that had double-figure scoring off the bench, had a dislocated kneecap. They expect him back later this season, though. Bacho heads to the bench, his night done. Didn't get you the 22 points, Avery, but he got you 18 and 4. And most importantly, the victory here for La Tech.
It's all about winning, baby. It's all about winning. We can all have team and individual goals, but at the end of the day, you get the win.
McHenry fouled by Crawford going to the cup. Got to dot the I's, cross the T's down the stretch here.
And one thing I love about Conference USA is not just winning the regular season, but when you win that conference tournament, you are a threat in the NCAA tournament. You know, a couple of years ago, I had North Texas when they were in the league. They upset Purdue. Western, you know, was dangerous last year when they went to the NCAA tournament. And then it's all about matchups. So Conference USA, man, independent of where you are in the standings right now, all of these teams are deep. They have problem solvers with players, whether it's Bacho here, that can get you a bucket. Bacho can play against anybody in any conference. He's a problem.
McHenry hits the 2nd free throw. McHenry up to 20 points now in this one. Make it 21 after the free throw. And that'll do it from Ruston as the Bulldogs pick up their 6th consecutive home win. 4 players in double figures. Bacho leads the way with 18, but as Crawford's 11 points, all in the second half, and his contributions. Your final score, 77-67. La Tech gets the victory in Ruston. For Avery Johnson and our entire crew, I'm Jordan Kent. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports, as we say good night from Ruston, Louisiana.